the Houston Championship. I'm so excited to see you all. Congratulations on all of you guys for competing. Our team is actually not competing. We're just here to celebrate our last year. Before we started, I just wanted to introduce myself. Hi, my name is Avanti Ramraj. I'm from Thunderbots FTC team 16656. We were also FLL team 428, so we've been a part of FIRST since 2013, which is why our FLL team number is so low, which is pretty crazy because I think it's like in the 80,000s now. And so, yeah, we've learned a lot over our journey, and I just wanted to share some of the things that I think I've learned. And also, of course, as a woman in STEM, as I see most of this crowd also is, that's one of the biggest things that I learned and took away from FIRST. And so before we start, I wanted to do a quick introduction, or actually you can introduce yourself, of somebody from the team that coined the hashtag First Like a Girl, which I'm sure you guys have heard all around the tournament today. So,
Hi guys, my name is Michaela. I'm from team 1902. I am First Like a Girl co-lead. I help manage the program that has spread so wide and so far. And I'm really excited to hear this presentation, and I have some pins and tattoos if you guys want them, but yeah.
So I think she will be passing those out, or even if you guys want to come grab them from her, they're super cool. Back in 2019, when our team attended our first ever Houston Championship, we actually received one of these pins and watched their video that they did promoting the hashtag First Like a Girl. And I can definitely say that it motivated me a lot. And as somebody who did speech and debate for many years, that's actually why I was invited to do a TED Talk. And that's exactly what this conference presentation is about. So I actually did a TEDx talk called There's a Brown Girl in the Ring, and it covered a lot of different topics, mostly surrounding, stereotypes and different issues that I'd faced in my own life. But a really big portion of that was about being a woman in STEM. And so there's going to be a lot of powerful statistics and that kind of thing that I'll cover as I go through this. But I just wanted to first commend everybody in this room, especially every girl in this room, for defying those stereotypes out there and being a powerful woman in STEM. And so if we could play the first portion of the TED Talk. And while this is playing, anybody feel free to walk over here, grab a pen if you want. There's no constraints that keep you in your seat, so. We slaughter one another with the stereotypes and mistrust that lingers in our heads. Nelson Mandela once said, "We don't have to conform to our stereotypes, and we certainly shouldn't be enforcing them." Hello, everybody. My name is Avanti, and I'm a high school student from California. And I am honored and privileged to stand in front of all of you today to challenge stereotypes and implicit biases on the basis of color, gender, race, Croc users, and more. We are going to hear the stories of those who rose to defeat their enemies of equality. And hopefully we're going to recognize some patterns by examining these stories, including that of Avanti Ramraj. Yes, that's me. It was either do this TED Talk or start a YouTube vlogging channel, and my mom was pretty clear about which of those things I should do. So, armed with the knowledge to defeat our own stereotypes, we can slay the dragons of inequality and hopefully craft a future without any bias at all. You may be wondering about the title of my speech, A Brown Girl in the Ring. Well, the fact is that it is based on a famous Boney M song. This song is based on a game that was often played by youth in the West Indies. And this game is a great manifestation of two key tenets that play a huge role in overcoming stereotypes: gamification and role models. In this game, a group of children form a circle, and one child is chosen as the leader, aka the role model. Just like the second verse of the song, "Show me your motion," the child shows his or her moves to the rest of the children, and they all imitate. Then that role model child chooses a partner, and the partner becomes the next brown girl in the ring. And the game goes on and on. And so I first want to talk about that first key tenet that this game illustrates of role models and trailblazers. I consider Lupita Nyong'o to be a trailblazer. Do you? Of course you do. She's a treasure. But if you have...
All right, so that was the first portion of my TED Talk. It was kind of giving an introduction for the title of my speech, as well as kind of the contents that were to follow. And I know that we kind of cut it off, but Lupita Nyong was actually an African-American woman who won the very first Oscar for the movie 12 Years a Slave. And it was a really monumental moment for women in Hollywood, first off, and also for African-American and colored people in Hollywood. So I just think that that was very powerful for somebody like me. And so now getting into what I know that you guys have all faced, which is just being a woman in STEM and in the FIRST community, I wanted to talk a little bit about my journey, as well as the things that I think helped me stay in STEM and stay motivated, especially when there's not a lot of people like us in this field. And so in 4th grade, me and my parents and a couple of family friends, we co-founded a community robotics team called the Thunderbots. We're not associated with any school or anything of the sort, so we actually just started with 7 people meeting up in a house and usually doing all of our practices in a garage. And that made it especially scary because we were pretty much, under-resourced compared to a lot of other teams. But because of it, I think that we were able to gain a lot of valuable knowledge of the FIRST field and also just robotics and engineering in general. And so what we ended up doing was creating this team and becoming a part of FIRST for 9 years. We've been in it since 2013. And over that time, we found a lot of success. One of the things that we did was during the Global Innovation Awards for the hydrodynamics season, we created a low-cost water purification system that was actually able to get us to the top 20 teams in the world and also earn a lot of recognition from people like the US Patent Office and more. And what I kept realizing in all of these scenarios is that even when my team was at one point just 4 girls, actually, which was that season, and the Into Orbit season that we were in FLL as well, is that when we look out to the real world, the statistics don't at all compare to what FIRST has. And so what I found in my research through both my speech and debate and robotics career is that women make up only 28% of the workforce in the STEM fields. And the really sad thing about that is the fact that in today's world, STEM is becoming a part of every part of life. As we know, whether it comes to manufacturing, whether it comes to cars, absolutely everything requires, a programmer, an engineer, but it's a field where women have been cut out for many, many years. And so to quickly explain this slide, of course, this was just the title of my speech. This was a famous song that was often sung in the West Indies, and it was about being a brown girl in the ring. And I think that that really obviously resonated with me. If we could go to the next slide. So yeah, here again, this is our team, and that was like just us 4 girls at one point. We've gone through a lot of ups and downs, but we've also been able to create a lot of really cool solutions that helped us prove that that statistic that we see out in the real world of just 28% of women in the STEM workforce is something that we can definitely change. If we look at the FIRST community, there's actually a 49.1 to 51% statistic, basically a half and half of women and men in this community. And that really proves that in the real world, if given the opportunity, women can find success in this field, and they can be just as powerful as others who have found success for many years. Another really big concept that I talked in my TED Talk about was that of gamification, and it's essentially taking really scary things like engineering and robotics and turning them into something that kids want to do by doing things like making you a part of a team. As you can see here, just us 3 girls actually attended an international invitational and competed, just the 3 of us, which was really scary and intimidating, especially in the presence of a lot of people that were, from other countries. It felt really lonely at times, but we actually were able to win the #1 Core Values Inspiration Award at that tournament. As you can see, that big trophy in the center. And so because of that, we were able to kind of realize that there's a lot of ways for us to make an impact on the community around us, but also it all starts by realizing that there's so much that we can value in engineering and STEM, and it's not as scary as that we might think it is. A lot of people, when you probably go to school and you tell them that you're in robotics, probably think it's really boring. You're sitting at a computer programming all day, but what they don't get to see is the gamification aspect. The fact that you get to go to a tournament and compete against other people, the fact that you get that sense of pride when you're cheering along other people, and we do FTC now, so when you're playing alongside an alliance, that's supposed to be, your competition, but somehow you feel like you're kind of united united with them. These are all really important values that FIRST has ingrained in us. And so I think that if there's one thing I want everybody to take away from this, it's just that there's really important value in teaching people that robotics and STEM isn't a scary field, and it's one where we can really come together. And I'm sure you guys can experience that just by the fact that right now you're at a, championship. It's technically a competition, but I'm sure what you're really feeling is just excitement to be in a huge group of people that is, pretty nerdy, gets called the kids in robotics. Like, most people don't think that we're very cool for doing robotics, or it's probably something you don't even tell your friends about that you do. But here, that's nothing to be ashamed of at all. It's something that makes you prideful and something that makes you, realize that you have so much more capability than, people and stereotypes might have told you that you had. And so basically, this is the call to action, I would say, as Michaela talked about with your guys' hashtag First Like a Girl. It's really important to realize that the impact on girls that FIRST gives is really, really significant. For a lot of people in this room, I'm sure that if your parents might not have forced you onto a robotics team when you were younger, you might have never found success in this field, or even maybe if you're going to college soon, found any kind of interest in the STEM field, you might have gone to some other career path. And so if you think that STEM and FIRST is what got you motivated to find a future in STEM, then you also have that value ingrained in you, and realize that First Like a Girl is super important and something that we should be teaching a lot of people. And so just to kind of wrap this up, my TEDx talk is actually on YouTube. The link is over there, but I've talked a lot today, so you probably don't want to go hear my voice again. I understand that. But more importantly, if you have any kind of questions or any kind of interest in, these initiatives, then please feel free to contact me there. And also just look up First Like a Girl on Instagram. They actually have a whole account just dedicated to that. And then also your guys' team also has an account, right? And so the thing is, these kind of initiatives are out there, but they're kind of hard to find sometimes, but that's our job to make them bigger and even better by all supporting them. So I'll let Michaela tell you maybe just a couple things about maybe your Instagram and that kind of thing. And again, our team is Thunderbots, so you guys can look us up on Instagram as well. It's Thunderbots FTC. And we're also actually hosting another session later on today at 2:30 that's going to be about what we did over the 9 years of robotics, how we did outreach, how we won that first Core Values Inspiration Award, and all of the other important things that we've been able to do over the course of our time in FIRST. So please feel free to contact us and also come out to that as well.
Okay, first off, can we just get a round of applause for Avanti over here? Doing amazing. So we do have a couple of social media platforms, 1902 run them. We have a First Like a Girl Instagram you can find pretty much by looking up First Like a Girl. We have a Twitter account, a Facebook account, and recently we have created a discourse page, not Discord, discourse. It's a forum page. You can find the link over our social media or go to connect.firstlikeagirl.com. And that is a kind of a web page we're starting, so girls from all around the world, all different organizations of FIRST, FTC, FRC can come and talk to each other. We're doing a merch giveaway through that, so if you want to get a First Like a Girl drawstring bag, get in that Connect and look for the details. But yeah.
Thank you so much. And again, please feel free to get a button and a tattoo from over here. And also, just sharing, I guess, my journey. Me and Thea over here, who's one of my teammates, we're actually the only two that came to this tournament. Our team is all seniors and one junior. And so one of the biggest things that I can teach you is that when you get to your senior year and you're feeling that fatigue, because I promise you, senioritis is a lot worse than they tell you it is, dedicate your time to making sure that you leave an impact. And so what our session later is going to be about is how we started programs in our local library and tried to expand them internationally in terms of funding underfunded students and getting them into, these FIRST programs that a lot of us have had, the really lucky opportunity to be a part of. And, what we have to realize is that a lot of times FIRST is also something that disproportionately a lot of us have access to because our schools might have funding or our families are able to fund it, but it's still something that a lot of people, and especially girls in a lot of underprivileged communities, don't have access to. So make sure that if you ever even hear of a school that doesn't have a team and your school had one, try to make that school your next goal and at least have something that you can come back to and say that you got at least one other person to join and share the experiences that you had at FIRST. And we are again from California. I will be attending Stanford University in the fall. Thea will be attending Rochester Institute of Technology in the fall. So if you guys are anywhere near us, please feel free to contact us as well, and we can totally arrange meetups and that kind of thing. It would be super cool. But thank you guys all for coming out.
everyone is cut out to be a star athlete. My tennis instructor was very clear about that. Maybe even a little too clear. That's all right, though. It's true that the possibility of a high school athlete becoming a tennis star is 1 in a million, and we still cheer for kids going down that path. But why not the same cheering for girls in STEM? Why not the same cheering for a girl who might one day become an award-winning lawyer or the next president of this nation? Why do we only have cheerleaders for sports? Why not have them for robotics and science fairs? We need kids of all colors, all gender, all race to imagine themselves as future CEOs, medical professionals, scientists, engineers, whatever else they want to be. We need gamification to hook them in, and we need the support structures necessary to cheer them on to excel. I'd like to encourage all of you, my esteemed audience, to motivate your children, your grandchildren, anyone around you to look around themselves. If they see themselves competing and succeeding in a field where there are not many others like them, they are doing a good thing. They are shattering a stereotype. And with the two tenets we've discussed today of role models and gamification, we can only continue to break these shatter these stereotypes one by one. Because in the end, black or brown or white or girl or boy or identifying with both, even if you're wearing Crocs with socks, shouldn't ever matter when it comes to chasing your dreams. Which is why I am so proud to be a brown girl in the ring. Thank you.
Yes, so thank you guys again for coming. And if you also have any questions about how I got the opportunity to do a TEDx talk, I think it's really something that helped, of course, with my college application and also my success. Please feel free to reach out to me again. My contact info is on the screen if you want to take a picture, anything of that sort. I hope to see you guys out there later today, and good luck to everyone competing.